We're back for our 5 best player props for week number 8 of the NFL season. Earlier today, we posted our 5 best bets for spreads and money lines, so go check that out. That is linked in the description down below. But again, right now, our 5 best player props for Sunday and one for Monday as well. Now, folks, before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more weekly NFL content here on the channel with, again, predictions every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, and then obviously on Sunday, or Saturdays, obviously both of our best bets for spread/money lines and with our best player props as well. Also, folks, go make sure to check out our other content here on the channel, daily MLB best bets and daily NBA best bets, both on the channel. Let's now get into the first of our 5 best player props. And if you have not yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more as we go to our first of the week, and we go to Xavier Legette. I think this line's way too low for Legette, man. I mean, guys, the way I see Panthers and Bengals being played out this week, and we actually, for the first time, have not Panthers and Bengals, Panthers and Bills played out this week, is just a shootout. I fully think so, okay? I think that Bills offense has to get back on track. They're in Carolina. I think they're going to. And I look at the Panthers against this Bills defense that's not very good. I just think we see a lot of points. So I'm looking at Xavier Legette, obviously second-year man out of South Carolina, was a first-round pick back in 2024, and really has struggled to find a real rhythm with an NFL offense so far, obviously just being in Carolina, and that'll do it to you sometimes as well, I completely understand. But Xavier Legette gets a chance with Andy Dalton this week. And not like Bryce Young's played poorly yet this season, but Xavier Legette in games in which he had Andy Dalton last year, 42 yards and 66 yards. Dalton made a couple starts last season when we thought potentially that the Panthers were going to fully go to him. And, you know, partially, again, Dalton lost his starting job because he ended up getting into a car accident where he got injured. He was fine like 2 weeks later, but that gave enough time for Bryce Young to get back into the starting role and adapt back into that job. But regardless, the 2 games that Dalton started last season, one in Vegas and one at home against the Cincinnati Bengals, Legette had 2 catches for 42 yards against Vegas and then 6 catches for 66 yards against the Cincinnati Bengals. And, I mean, again, Legette has played good football so far this season, and his best game was last week. Well, he has played all right football. Last week, though, he's got more yards in that game last week against the New York Jets than he did all year long. And what happens at the end of the game? Andy Dalton comes in at quarterback. Guys, Andy Dalton in the 4th quarter, the dagger was Andy Dalton throwing the ball to Xavier Legette for 33 yards. That one play at the end of the game, and the only ball Dalton threw all game long to Legette, covered his line. Well, only ball that was caught by Legette from Dalton. They had an incomplete pass earlier on in the drive, or the drive before. But you know what I mean. One play is all it took for Andy Dalton to find Xavier Legette. And the way the Buffalo Bills are playing defense right now, I get it. A lot of focus is put on Carolina with that run game with Rico Dowdle, with obviously Chuba Hubbard as well. Do not sleep on the Red Rifle this week. Do not sleep on him, okay? Dalton's going to put up numbers this week, and this is nothing against Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young is their franchise guy. Sometimes, though, when you switch it up and get a guy like Andy Dalton out there, a veteran, the Red Rifle, who I believe Andy Dalton is actually very close. This is a random poll. Andy Dalton, I believe, is kind of close to passing Joe Montana in all-time passing yards. I think he's like very close to that. I need to check that in a second. Yeah, Dalton, Dalton needs like 4 starts. But if Dalton gets 4 more starts, he's going to pass Joe Montana for all-time passing yards, which is just absurd, but it is what it is, right? The Red Rifle can still sling it, and the Red Rifle has thrown quite a bit to Xavier Legette. I'm sure, again, he's going to love getting the ball to Tet McMillan, but the last time Dalton was starting games for this team, he had Adam Thielen, too, and he went to Thielen quite a bit. Thielen actually got injured in that Vegas game where, you know, Dalton threw him open for a touchdown in Las Vegas, but 1A and 1B this week for Andy Dalton will be Xavier Legette and Tet McMillan. But I think last week's such an encouraging sign for Legette, and I get it, McMillan's again drawing all the attention, but that's gonna continue, obviously. Legette had 9 catches for 92 yards and 11 targets and a touchdown. That's a big game. Again, you know, he put up 60+ yards with Bryce Young, or 60 yards with Bryce Young, and here comes Andy Dalton to give him that 33-yard completion at the end of the game to win the game for Carolina on the road in the Meadowlands. So I like Dalton a lot in this spot, but again, the focus is on Xavier Legette, and I'm like, this line's just way too low. It is. Guys, Buffalo doesn't play great defense. Their secondary is not very good. You know, the way Josh Allen and the Bills are going to continue to win football games this year is just by getting the shootouts and outscoring their opponents, okay? I'm not telling you this is going to be a back and forth, showdown between the Panthers and Bills that just a million points are scored in, but I do believe Carolina is able to hold their own enough tonight or on Sunday, and I think Andy Dalton, again, if he has a big day or at least just has a decent day, a lot of balls are going to Legette, a lot of balls are going to Ted McMillan. But again, if I'm Buffalo, yes, Legette ripped 92 yards against, or had 92 yards against the Jets, but our main emphasis in the past game, if I'm Buffalo, is Ted McMillan. That opens up and creates for Xavier Legette. So give me Legette over 32.5 receiving yards. I think it's forgotten. He's a first-round pick, and Carolina went first-round receiver in back-to-back years. And obviously, again, the potential and the outlook's a lot brighter for Ted McMillan, but don't sleep on Legette at the same exact time. So give me Xavier Legette over 32.5 receiving yards. He can get this done on one catch on Sunday from Andy Dalton. Let's go Red Rifle. Let's go Xavier Legette, and let's continue the theme with historically good quarterbacks, veteran quarterbacks, and the unks, because you know where we're going next. It's time for Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco. If you don't think he's great, then you're wacko. Here he is, man. I mean, he keeps on getting it done. He's inevitable. Joe Flacco making starts and having productive starts in the NFL just keeps happening. Oh, man, Joe Flacco. Last week, 342 yards against the Pittsburgh Steelers, 47 passing attempts. But guys, Flacco's always had the arm. He's always been capable, and he's always been, he's always been able to run a type of offense like Cincinnati does. It's just the last couple of seasons we've seen him in offenses in both Indianapolis. Well, Indianapolis, they threw the ball quite a bit, but in Cleveland, at least early in the season, where everyone, Flacco's washed. Yeah, it's the Browns. It's still a run-first team. Obviously, Quinshad Judkins, Jerome Ford, Dylan Sampson, some. They want to run the ball quite a bit. And the Browns, guys, no quarterback is going to succeed in Cleveland, obviously, right? And there's just been a million quarterbacks that have made starts just since 2005, 2008 in Cleveland. They can't find a franchise guy at all. And that's whatever. That's not Flacco's problem anymore. He's 40 years old. He's eating at restaurants by himself and finding the peace in that and going out and slinging for over 300 yards. So Flacco only getting a line of 243 this week is absurd. He's going to throw the ball 45 times. Now, my only worry in this game with Flacco is the fact that the Jets are probably going to get blown out here. Guys, the Jets don't even know who apparently the Jets know who their starting quarterback is, according to Aaron Glenn. He's just not telling the media. Tyrod Taylor's injured, but maybe he'll play, maybe not. Maybe we're going to go to Justin Fields after Woody Johnson, owner of the Jets, straight up just crapped all over Justin Fields said, well, you can't win a game and your quarterback sucks. I'm paraphrasing a lot there, but you know what I mean. They just don't stand a chance. They've got a plethora of injuries. Again, biggest ones, obviously, defensively, Sauce Gardner. You got Garrett Wilson offensively hurt, too. Tyrod Taylor, who's probably your best quarterback on roster, is injured as well. That's the concern, is that it's a blowout. But even in a blowout, Flacco should be able to get 250 yards, or 244 yards. And it's difficult not to. Flacco said this himself. Again, I'm a big Joe Flacco guy. I listen to a lot of what Joe Flacco has to say, because, again, I really like Joe. But, I mean, I don't think he was going at Jake Browning with this statement, but it was a very accurate statement Joe Flacco put out there. He said, if you can't succeed, if you can't figure it out throwing the ball to these guys, and these guys who's obviously referring to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, if you can't figure it out with these guys, then you got to really question, again, I'm paraphrasing her a little bit, but you got to question what you're doing in the sport, because if you can't figure it out with these guys, where are you ever going to figure it out? And Joe Flacco has shown that over his first two games in Cincinnati. Obviously, the first game, he was with the team for 3 days. Then he had to go up to Lambeau and play a game. But the game were against Pittsburgh, which he was only there for like 8 days for, because it was a short week on a Thursday night. He goes out there, Joe Flacco, throws for 342 yards, 3 touchdowns, and just gets it done. 31 for 47 passing. And, hey, he targeted Jamar Chase 23 times. Again, Jamar Chase said this himself. I'm always open. It doesn't matter who's on me. Jamar Chase is always open, and Joe Flacco, and sure, Burrow does this some too, but Flacco's taking it to heart. Guys, Flacco's 40. He doesn't care. He's in the league to, he's not in for the money anymore. Flacco's here to continue to build his legacy and just make his Hall of Fame resume better and continue to climb the ranks of all-time passing yards. Again, he's past Russell Wilson and Fran Tarkenton now. So again, Flacco keeps on climbing the ranks. He's 14th all-time? He would need to play another full season to pass like Warren Moon and John Elway, but he keeps on climbing. Anyways, though, Flacco doesn't care. He knows what he is at this point of his career. He can sling it. He can throw the ball very hard. Some of the balls he throws to Ja'Marr Chase is ridiculous, but what has he got to lose? I mean, he knows where he's going. The defense knows where he's going. He's got 2 receivers. I'm throwing to Higgins. I'm throwing to Ja'Marr Chase. And sure, again, Yoshi Voss, but Yoshi Voss continues to drop footballs all the time. Again, Flacco does not care. He'll throw to his main receiver 23 times. And why not? Ja'Marr Chase is, at his best, potentially the best receiver in football. You can make the case he's better than Jefferson. You can make the case he's better than Nakua. A lot of people make the case he's better than Puka. I think Puka's great. But you know what I mean, right? Like, the top 3 in the league are Ja'Marr Chase, Justin Jefferson, Puka Nakua. JSN. Not yet, okay? I know JSN's got big yards this season. Who else is in Seattle right now? Cooper Kupp? Come on. Flacco doesn't give a damn. Flacco's going to keep throwing to his main guys, and that's fine. Again, guys, T. Higgins and Ja'Marr Chase had 33 targets last game. The other 14 targets are built upon Yoshi Voss, Noah Fant, and Chase Brown. But that's just what Flacco does, man. Flacco's going to sling it. He's not afraid to get it to his receivers. So when I see this line, this is absolutely automatic this week. It completely is. Flacco keying in on his main guys against a bad Jets team. This should be a blowout victory for Cincinnati. I know a lot has been put on how bad the Bengals defense has been all year long, and that's fair. What the hell are the Jets offense going to do? Is the Jets offense going to do? And again, that's not part of this prediction, but it's, it applies a little bit, or this best bet. I mean, the Jets are going to get mauled this weekend. It's okay. We're going Bengals here. We're going Joe Flacco. Again, if you want to see my full prediction on this game, go check it out in our best game's not on the best bets video, but talked about it in our predictions video, full game overview. I'm taking the Bengals, and I'm taking Joe Flacco. Again, he's still elite at 40 years of age. Joe Flacco over 243.5 passing yards against the Jets. Next up, we go to a divisional matchup in Philadelphia. Give me Cam Scataboo. Scataboo rushing yards this week, 55.5. Sign me up. Guys, I saw how much trouble Philadelphia had against Cam Scataboo on Thursday Night Football just a couple weeks ago. And they just, again, these 2 teams played on October 9th, excuse me. It's like 17 days ago, 18 days ago. They just played, and Cam Scataboo had 19 carries for 98 yards. Now, Scataboo is yet to cross the century mark so far this season, at least pure rushing-wise. All-purpose he definitely has with the receiving yards. But, guys, Scataboo, every single game this season that he has, gotten most of the carries, he goes over this yard mark, right? The game against the Cowboys, he got 11 carries, 45 yards, don't care. Since Scataboo's been established as number 1, and since really the Tyrone Tracy injury, I know Tracy's back now, but Scataboo is officially number 1, obviously. Look at the games Scataboo puts up. 10 carries, 60 yards against the Kansas City Chiefs, 25 carries, 79 yards against the Chargers, 15 carries, 59 yards against the New Orleans Saints, 19 carries, 98 yards against the Philadelphia Eagles, and last week, 16 carries, 60 yards against the Denver Broncos. I mean, yeah, there's games where he averages 3 yards a carry, but he still finds a way, and they feed him enough. They give him the ball quite a bit. Scataboo finds ways to get 56 yards. He's done it in every single game since the Kansas City game. Why wouldn't I go with Scat here, right? Like, again, he had his best game of his career against Philadelphia. And you can say, oh, well, Philadelphia figured it out last week against the Minnesota Vikings. I guess. I just saw Minnesota go into Los Angeles, and I get it, Wentz is hurt, but I just saw them going to Los Angeles, and the Chargers completely bitched that team, okay? Like, Jordan Mason did not have a good day running the football against the Eagles. He still cleared this line. Jordan Mason against the Eagles on Sunday, the Vikings' second to last game now. In a game in which they threw the ball quite a bit, Wentz made some mistakes, but whatever. Jordan Mason ran the ball 15 times for 57 yards. Sure, he barely cleared, but he cleared. Again, no one said Jordan. The takeaway from that game for the Vikings was not, oh, look how great of a game Jordan Mason had. And that's my point here. Scataboo does not have to have a good game. Scataboo just has to have a pedestrian effort, and he's going to easily clear this line. Again, we just saw this 2 games ago. Scataboo, 19 carries, 98 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Sure, a lot of those touchdowns were just punch-in efforts from the goal line, but Scataboo is running just fine against the Eagles. And I get it, games at the Link now, wherever the hell they call it. It's in Philadelphia, I understand. It doesn't really matter to me. I've seen Scataboo go on the road this season and be perfectly fine. Again, does he barely clear this line against the Broncos? Sure, but he does. He goes 2 mile high at altitude, 16 carries, 60 yards. In New Orleans, 15 carries, 59 yards. It doesn't matter where it is. And sure, again, is Scataboo on a, speed, is Scataboo completely speed running CTE right now? He may be, don't get me wrong, but he's finding a way. Guys, Scataboo, lower the head, find contact, boom, run a guy over. It doesn't matter. That's just what Scat does. I went over it in our best bets earlier today about the Giants. Like, again, this is a team that's just going to be competitive all year long. I think they're going to give the Eagles hell this week. I think Philly probably wins, but who knows? Giants might be able to steal one here, and again, a big reason to their success and how well they've played this season is Scataboo. Yeah, a lot of that's Jackson Dart as well, but just that momentum and just the culture, not culture shock, but really just that the difference, but the way Scataboo runs, and this is nothing against Tyrone Tracy, but like just the vibes change when Scataboo comes into the game, and you knew that. Even in that week 1 game when they lost in Washington and Scataboo wins, the Angry Runs Award on NFL Network for a run where he lost a yard, because again, that's just what he does. He tries to run everybody over. He lowers his head. Who cares? Again, like CTE, whatever. This is the same guy who used to, bang his helmet into a wall before games. It's a real video at Arizona State, right? I mean, it's okay. It is what it is. Might have a 4-year career, but let's enjoy it while it lasts. Meet Cam Scataboo over rushing yards this week in Philadelphia. He's done it before against the Eagles. He will do it again. Over 55.5 rushing yards this week for Cam Scataboo on the road in Philadelphia, again against the Eagles. On to our 4th best bet of the video. We've gotten to him earlier this season, and we're going to do it again. Michael Pitman Jr. I said it at the beginning of the year. Pitman would be back this year in terms of just a usage rate and touchdowns and whatnot and yards. Again, I don't know if I think Pitman can be a 1,000-yard receiver. His yards as a whole are still kind of down, 350 yards so far this year in 7 games. But, and that's just, again, you got to credit that really to how many guys the Colts have. But Michael Pitman, at least fantasy-wise, has been an absolute monster this season. And sure, again, if I'm not getting into fantasy much here, but he has kind of been a touchdown-dependent guy. But this is a very good matchup for Michael Pitman against the Tennessee Titans, a team that does not have a very good secondary, that's just not very good in general, and we just need Pitt to get 50 yards here. First time they played Tennessee all year long, Michael Pitman actually had his season high in yards. He had 6 catches and 6 targets for 73 yards. That's all we need here. We need 50 out of Michael Pitman. But the reason why I like this is not because of that first matchup against Tennessee. No, it's because of that game against the Chargers. It's the most Daniel Jones has really ever targeted Pitman. Yeah, I think there were more in the Rams game, but they were most successful, and Pitman had his most catches last week in their second game in Los Angeles, obviously this time around against the Chargers. 7 catches for 58 yards and 9 targets. That's big time, man. If Pitman can continue to see that production, that's what he is at his best, right? Something that, Pitman struggled with last year, especially or last couple of years when Anthony Richardson's on the field. He would never, he would not be part of the offense, and they wouldn't treat him like he was a number 1 until a guy like Joe Flacco came in and a guy like Gardner Minshew was playing. And that's nothing against AR. It's just Richardson and Pitman just don't really work together. I'm sure personally they're fine, but just in terms of like Richardson doesn't want to take the 10-yard in-cutting route. He wants the ball over the top. This is why I thought Pitman was going to be so successful this season. Daniel Jones, a receiver like Michael Pitman, just works with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, yeah, he'll take the deep shot, and that's obviously Alec Pierce zone, and that's the Alec Pierce territory. That's just what Pierce's role has always been. I'm sure Pierce kind of misses Anthony Richardson because he would always have a 60-yard bomb every single game. But Jones loves taking the underneath stuff with Pitman, and underneath to a point like, okay, 10-yard crossing routes, right? I mean, there are plays, obviously, and you're seeing this more with Steichen and whatnot with the Colts. They want to get Pitman as involved as possible. Obviously, Pittman's already got 5 touchdowns this year. His career high in a single season, 6. So he's going to easily shatter that this year. But they're finding ways to get Pitman the ball. Look at that goal line play that they run at the 2-yard line. They motion Pitman across. They think, okay, he's gonna lead block for a stretch route, a stretch concept for a running back. No, they leak Pitman out. He's running a flat route. Boom, touchdown. He's wide open. Right, 2-yard touchdown. Jones to Pitman. And again, that's not a big yardage play for us, but I'm saying like they are finding ways and they're designing plays specifically to get Pitman the ball. Something they have not done really since, I don't know, the Carson Wentz year. Like Pitman has not been an emphasis in the offense recently. At least last year he was not, and I get it. Pitman was playing through an injury the entire year, and this is what happens when you get a very good receiver at full health. And this is what Pitman can be at full health. He can be a guy that you can legitimately target 10 times a game, even more than 10 times a game. He just needs to see that type of volume, and that's what he's going to continue to see with a guy like Daniel Jones. But again, this is something I called very, very early in the year. I called this right away. Like, go back and watch our first best bets video when I took the Colts to beat the Dolphins, and I thought it was kind of silly that the Colts were even money with the Dolphins at home. Like, y'all must have forgot how good this team can be and all the talent they have. And again, nothing against AR, but this team's going to succeed with an actual quarterback, and a quarterback that can just come into a system and make all the plays they need him to make. And that's what Daniel Jones is. And Daniel Jones is going to find himself again in the Baker Mayfield category, the Sam Darnold, really more Baker than Sam Darnold category of being a franchise guy. Trust me, Jones is going to get paid this offseason. I assume it's going to be in Indianapolis, but if they don't want to pay him, somebody else is going to pay Daniel Jones to be their franchise quarterback. I'm sure it's going to be the Colts because he just fits in. The team has bought into what Indiana Jones is. There's a reason they made him a captain at the beginning of the season. Sure, you can say starting quarterbacks are just captains regardless, but this team has bought in, the franchise has bought in, and the players around Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones has bought in. And what does that create? One of the best offenses in football. Look at the production Jonathan Taylor's had this year. Why is that? Why is Daniel Jones a factor? Because teams actually have to respect the pass game now. Past years, they really haven't. Oh, we have to respect, okay, AR taking off with it. And, oh, but we're still key and run. Now, you got to respect that pass game and what Daniel Jones and Indiana Jones can do to you and what Michael Pittman can do. And again, the problem with Pittman sometimes will be, and trust me, as someone who has watched Michael Pittman a lot, I always pick Pittman in fantasy because I like the guy quite a bit. I've watched him since his days at USC. Used to watch Bro's YouTube channel all the time. He doesn't really post there anymore, but you know what I mean, right? Like, I'm a big fan of Pittman. I have Michael Pittman's jersey. It's hanging over there. But as someone who's watched a lot of Colts football, and throughout the years, and especially now, like, they have so many weapons, man. You draft Tyler Warren in the first round. You have Josh Downs, A.D. Mitchell's around, Alec Pierce is around. There are so many threats. Mo Alley Cox has been around for quite a bit. And the Colts have loved Cox over the years. Like, it's just, they've got so many guys. So it's struggle, and Pittman's always been number one, but it's hard for him to be a high volume guy. And obviously the injuries he's played through too. It's just been difficult for Pittman. This is the perfect spot for him now with Daniel Jones, and Pittman's excelled this season. He's going to continue to excel, and I believe he's going to see more of an expanded role as the season goes on, as Indianapolis will start to look forward to the postseason eventually. Give me Indianapolis and Michael Pittman Jr. over 49.5 receiving yards at home against Tennessee. He's already smashed this line once this year against Tennessee. I expect him to do it again. Final best player prop of the video. Let's go to Monday Night Football. Marcus Mariota to run for 24 yards. Guys, Marcus Mariota is going to be fighting for his life on Monday night, okay? I'm not a big Chiefs guy, as you can probably tell if you've watched my videos before, but going to Arrowhead on a Monday night against this team, ooh, yeah. And the way the Commanders have been playing and the way the Chiefs are kind of on the ups. Again, am I fully bought in on Kansas City being a Super Bowl contender right now? No, I know they're the favorites to win the Super Bowl right now, which is a little ridiculous. But I guess, whatever. I guess Mahomes is the MVP favorite too. It is what it is. Going to Kansas City is going to be difficult, and it's going to be rough for Mariota. I don't know how many yards Mariota is going to be able to throw for this week, okay? And I don't even know, what the hell is going on in Washington with all their injuries. Can we expect McLaurin, and can we expect Debo to be back this week? I think so. I think they're fully back. But again, what I'm going to do, and what I'm going to go to instead of the passing yards, obviously for Mariota, why would I do that? I'm going to take his rushing. This is an automatic line for me. Guys, Marcus Mariota, at heart, is a rush first guy. I don't care Mariota's older. He's still only 31, actually. I mean, if you've ever watched Marcus Mariota, you watched him in Atlanta, watched him in Tennessee, watched him at Oregon, he wants to run. He's not a bad passer, but Marcus Mariota has always been a run-first type guy. That is still the case at 31 years of age in Washington. And look at what Mariota's done in every single start he's had so far this season. He's had two. He's played 3 games. He started 2, but in the 3 games he's played, 2 of 3 of those games, Mariota has gone over this line. The only game he didn't was against Atlanta, but you look at last week against the Cowboys, he comes in the second half, Mariota runs the ball twice for 34 yards. Raiders game, 6 carries, 40 yards. Again, it's beyond just, Mariota's scrambling ability. The Commanders are going to put in stuff for Mariota to run the ball. I mean, they are more willing, this is just how it is. They're more willing to run the ball with Marcus Mariota than they are with Jaden Daniels. Obviously, Daniels is probably a better runner, and they want to take off more with Jaden Daniels. But, for as much as Mariota's, still a capable player, capable backup, they're not afraid of getting Mariota that hurt. Worst case, I hope Mariota doesn't get hurt this week. But, okay, Mariota gets hurt. He's your backup quarterback. You have a 39-year-old Josh Johnson who's your emergency third stringer who's going to be your backup this week. But if Mariota's really just there to continue to be a veteran mentor to Jaden Daniels is Mariota, is just trying to help Jaden Daniels be a better version of what Marcus Mariota was at his best. Well, he's still in the locker room. He's still going to be around even if he gets hurt and, hurts his ankle or something. Again, I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But you get what I mean here, though. They're not too concerned about getting Mariota hurt. Again, if Mariota gets hurt this game, they already know they're going to lose in Kansas City. All right, they're going to throw everything at the Chiefs and just let Mariota keep running. Okay, and I get it. Daniels might be out more than 1 week. Okay, whatever. If they have to go to Josh Johnson, they have to go to Josh Johnson. Okay, I've kind of already concluded that the Commander season is in ruins. Okay, it's over this season. And I know we're 7 games in, and I'm saying that. Look at their schedule coming up. Seattle next week on Sunday night. Lions coming up after that. Dolphins, it's a bye week essentially before their actual bye week. But then Broncos, Vikings, Giants, Eagles, Cowboys, Eagles. Yeah, I don't think they're going anywhere this season. And it sucks because the Commanders were electric last year. But my point with all this is Marcus Mariota should be able to see so many rushing opportunities this week. And in a game in which he's going to be in hell, Kansas City's D-line's going to come after him. Spagnola's going to, whip up a lot of stuff to take away stuff, obviously for McLaurin and Deebo Samuel. Okay, and Zach Ertz. Okay, it's time to take off Mariota. Marcus Mariota, he still tries to create for his own play. Way back when in the wild card round, obviously, where he caught his own pass in Kansas City against the Chiefs. He has seen success against Kansas City in the past when he was in Tennessee, but you saw it then, you see it now. Even that pick 63 to Deron Bland last week, what is that a result of? Mariota creating for his own play. Mariota running around trying to find a way. This week, he's going to tuck it and run and not throw that football. So again, Mariota's going to have a lot of rushing opportunities and a lot of rushing attempts, I believe. I think Mariota easily goes over this line. It's very low, 23.5. Guys, there's a chance Mariota's their leading rusher this week. I fully believe that. Justin Herbert / CJ Stroud-esque. Mariota might be their leading rusher this week. So, folks, thank y'all for watching our 5 best player props for week 8 of the NFL season. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you did disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back next week for more weekly NFL content, obviously. Predictions on Tuesday, best bets through player props and money lines and spreads, both on Saturday, just like this week as well. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.